Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon, Conference. Danish has proposed this motion incredibly eloquently. And of course it is a timely motion, as next month we mark Islamophobia Awareness Month. Last year I had a speech prepared in the House of Commons where I was marking Islamophobia Awareness Month 2021 alongside other MPs. And I was making a speech alongside Kirsten, you may remember it. During that speech, however, I ended up ripping up what I had prepared because I was so angry at the manner in which Tory MPs viewed Islamophobia. And this is an incredibly personal thing to me. And I want to tell you my journey into politics. So we can all cast our minds back to a significant event in your life. It might be the day you got married, it might be when you had a child, or it might be a specific election. My key memory for me is my 9th birthday. As a child, I loved my birthday because that meant presents. And to be honest, I still quite like the presents aspect. I remember getting off the school bus on my 9th birthday and I ran home. I opened the door and I saw my mum and I was expecting her to shower me with gifts and attention. Instead, my mum was watching the TV screen and I could see her crying. I looked over at the TV screen and it was a news channel and on loop were planes crashing into buildings. So on my 9th birthday, that was the day of the 11th of September 2001, the 9/11. My life changed after that day, and that's why it's such a vivid memory for me, because I was always acutely aware that I was a woman of colour and that I was a practising Muslim. In the evening, I would go to mosque from 5 till 7 for Islamic lessons or Quran lessons, whereas my friends went to church on Sundays. But I never really saw myself as different. The next day, however, I went to school, and whilst I was waiting for the school bus, I got asked if my dad was a terrorist because we were the Muslim family. I got asked if my skin colour, or rather told that my skin colour was dirty. And I remember asking my parents, is this going to have an impact on me? And they're like, no, you're just a 9-year-old lassie from North Lanarkshire. But the reality was that it did have an impact on me and so many other Muslims. And there's other memories, of course, Conference, when my dad would get stopped at airports. And I would always remark to my family, I wonder if it's because the first name on his passport says Mohammed. And of course, I'm acutely aware of the privilege that I have. I talk about my faith a lot, but I don't identifiably look like a Muslim, whereas we have very many women who wear hijab, and I know how challenging it can be for them too. Right now, I am the only Muslim in Scotland representing a Scottish constituency in the House of Commons. And that's so lovely of you to clap, but the reality is that's a big weight I have on my shoulders, and I certainly do not want to be the only one. I want to see so many more, not just Muslims, but Sikhs and Hindus and people from diverse communities being represented, not in the House of Commons because we want to get out of there, but in the Scottish Parliament. Almost every Muslim you speak to will have a story similar to mine, where they faced abuse or discrimination. The Equalities and Human Rights Council have found that the majority of Muslims have experienced some form of abuse. That's no surprise to me. Much of this abuse, however, goes unreported. In Scotland, only around 20% of those surveyed brought up issues of Islamophobia with the police. Almost all agreed that their report wasn't taken seriously. and less then leaves victims of Islamophobia feeling isolated and reduces the likelihood that they're going to report abuse to police again. And we know that alongside abuse, Islamophobia may potentially limit people's opportunities. It can prevent individuals from gaining a job or can cause them to miss out on a promotion. And studies have found that on average, Muslims receive a worse level of healthcare and education simply due to their religion. And it's unacceptable that the UK government has not done more to tackle bigotry and racism. However, this comes as no surprise when you consider the fact that the former Prime Minister said openly that Muslim women that wear the niqab look like letterboxes. It is a disgrace. Conference Scotland is a wonderful place to live. We are a welcoming and outward-looking nation, and I am so proud of my identity. I call myself a Scottish Pakistani Muslim, and in the holy month of Ramadan, you'll often find me opening my fast with a curry and a cold can of Ain Brew. Conference, please support this motion.